Welcome to Made in Spain. Laura, how are you today?
Super well. I'm very excited to be here.
All right. I'm Nalini Sharma and
I'm Laura Senior Garcia.
And we're your hosts for the Made in Spain podcast. Today we're covering one of our favorite cities. The next couple of episodes actually that we have coming out will be a little bit more travel focused and our experiences in these cities. So I'm kind of excited about that. Today we're going to talk about Valencia, and we're calling this episode Sun, Paella, and the City That Has It All.
Nice.
All right. But before we get going, Laura, do you want to tell people where they can find us, where they can interact with us, engage with us, our socials?
Yes. So we have a growing social community. So if you are interested in seeing some of our behind the scenes and getting to know us a little better, TikTok and Instagram, it's either Made in Spain Podcast or at the Made in Spain Podcast in those platforms. And of course, for you that listen to us on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, and all the platforms for your podcast, just look for Made in Spain Podcast and hit that follow or subscribe button, because we don't want you to miss any of the episodes that come out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're going to start today. And I thought this would be, it's not an official title. It's our working title. The working title is, what are you watching? What are you wearing? What are you interested in? What are you reading? What are you eating? So
awesome.
Today, this is what I'm going to feature, which is this Istin photo protector. We'll get a close-up of that. Yeah. But I've been using this recently because I have sunspots, which that is really all my social media feeds feature right now. How to deal with melasma, and I talk about it quite frequently. But
Nalini's algorithm has caught on to her.
That is currently my algorithm. And anybody who has my skin tone, it's something that we have to fight and deal with. But one of the things the dermatologist recommended is a sunscreen, but it has to be a tinted sunscreen. So this one's very lightweight, and I actually use it a couple of times a day. So I love that. And also this has been my go-to in the last month. It's this lip glow butter by Dior. Again, you don't have to buy Dior. I just bought it because I thought it would be a nice little travel companion. It's almost finished. I may go back to it. I may not. I may not spend that money again because Mercadona has some pretty good lip oils right now.
And NYX, actually, NYX, they have a jelly, like a lip jelly that feels really good, and it's not sticky. Because, the whole thing of like before it was the lip glosses, where the moment you have like one hair stuck on your lip gloss and like it's in your face. I have a question about the Istin sunscreen or tinted sunscreen. Does it feel itchy on your eyes when because that's my one thing is I actually want to put sunscreen on my face. I know, because I'm very dermatology focused, that is the right thing to do. Yeah. But if I do, somehow it always ends up like driving me crazy because my eyes burn like they're on fire.
Maybe don't put it in your eye.
I try to, but then when I put like any little bit of makeup or something, it just happens to make its way up there. So have you had that with that one? Okay, good.
No,
okay.
I'm just teasing, by the way.
Okay, no, I know, but
don't
it's like,
put it in your eye, Laura. No, I know, but also, I mean, I've been wearing it. It hasn't been that hot where we are, and I haven't also been sweating. Yes. But I can't imagine that especially even if you go to the beach and stuff like that and you put sunscreen and you're sweating, it gets in your eye and
I get like a full-blown reaction from it.
Yeah, you need to check the ingredients. For me, no.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, no. So
Istin, and I believe Istin is a Spanish brand.
It is. Yeah, it's perfect. And it's not super expensive. It's a decent price.
It's like a pharmacy, right?
People in the pharmacy. Yeah. So, and also because not a lot of people here are this color, I always get this on sale.
There you go. Nice.
All right. So what's your show and tell?
So my show and tell is I am reading, and I actually want to mention that I've always been a big reader, but lately I had gone into this loop of scrolling and a lot of social media consumption. But I was like, I really want to get back to reading. I want to get back to reading before going to bed, because I could sense that my sleep is not as restful when I'm scrolling before bed. So that's the moment that I thought I want to go back to reading something. And I don't even know how this came up. I went on Amazon and this came up as a recommendation. I've never been much of a philosophy book reading person.
Right.
But anyway, so I picked up The Courage to Be Disliked, which I think is like a really cool book. And just to kind of read a little bit of the excerpt, is happiness something you choose for yourself? The Courage to Be Disliked presents a simple and straightforward answer. It's using the theories of Alfred Adler. He was one of the originals that always sat with Freud and Carl Jung, but he had a very different perspective.
Okay.
So there's these three men that would, basically sit in Austria and were like the fathers of modern psychology.
Right.
But it's based on what he kind of thought was the theory that really defined, how we show up in the world.
Okay.
Main change from his theory to some of Freud's and Carl Jung's theory is that we all have the capability to change and you are not stuck in your past trauma. Whereas for Freud, everything was, your parents did this or you did that. You're stuck or you have to work through that trauma of some kind.
Okay.
And the book is from a Japanese writer, and it's basically a philosopher helping his student, you could say, or someone that is challenging his theory. So it's a dialogue, and I'm really enjoying it. It's just not my usual read. I did get a comment from my brother specifically that he's like, you don't need to read that. Like, you don't care about what people think about you. I was like, no, maybe not, but it's always a good reminder,
It's also just good to read, period.
Yeah, so, we all have the opportunity to be happy if we choose to be.
Of course.
That's my space.
Yeah. All right, so that was a little show and tell. Let's get into our episode. We're doing Valencia. Now, Valencia is consistently ranked as one of the best cities in the world to live in. Actually, in 2024, Forbes ranked it as the #1 city, and that was based on a number of criteria. So it was on affordability, it was on, accessibility, culture, lifestyle, quality of life, ease of settling in, and Valencia beat out all the other cities above, for example, Dubai for,
Interesting.
Yeah, as a sort of a competitor in that list. And they surveyed over almost 13,000 expats living in 53 cities across 35 countries. So Valencia came out on top of that. Now, there's another side to it now where I know it's been in the news, and we'll talk about that later in the episode. Just that some of the cities are becoming quite crowded and overrun, and that is a problem for people who it's their town. They were born there. They've lived there their whole life. Their families have been there for generations. So that's another topic. However, Valencia did come out as the #1 city. And I haven't traveled the world, but I think it does deserve that recognition based on that type of criteria. Do you know how many people live in Valencia?
No, actually I don't.
If you had to guess.
I would guess like several million, but I may be wrong.
Well, the actual city itself has approximately 850,000 people, which is big.
It's big, but I thought it would be bigger.
Well, the outlying area, the
extra radius.
Yes, so the suburbs, as you would call it, that pushes the population to almost 1.4 million.
Wow.
So behind Madrid, Barcelona, it is the third largest, city in Spain.
But there's a big jump in terms of the difference. And, that's one thing that Barcelona, Madrid get a tremendous amount of attention. It's funny because, as you know, with my work, I travel all the time. And when I say I'm from Spain, and the first thing people ask me every single time, oh, are you from Madrid or Barcelona? And I was like,
really?
Yeah, I get that question all the time. And it's like,
funny.
No, I'm not.
There are other cities.
Places. Actually, I'm not even from a city. I don't live in a city, but that is where people's mind goes to. I think when they think about Spain, most of the time is Madrid or Barcelona for the soccer teams, for many different things. So Valencia is definitely very unique, and it has been getting more attention, but I feel like it doesn't really beg for that attention. There's not like massive hype to it yet.
I don't think so, not from what we've sort of experienced living here. But I will say for us, we will go to Alicante for shopping or a lunch or, some whatever. It's just like going to the city. But when we have to go to Valencia, I feel like that's a big deal for us.
Yeah, even though it's not that much further.
It's not. For where we live, if you get in the car, it's an hour and let's say 40 minutes, 45. It's under 2 hours if you don't hit any traffic.
Yes.
But yet we kind of think, oh my gosh, I have to go to Valencia this weekend for something. It seems so far away. Yeah. And then once you get there, it's a whole other vibe.
Lots of gastronomy options, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Lots of cultural options. There is an airport you can fly into directly, the Valencia Airport. There's lots of direct flights, international direct flights from other cities in Europe. And I think it's quite interesting. It is usually cheaper to fly into Valencia than to fly into Barcelona or Madrid. So sometimes it's kind of good to also look at that as an option.
Yeah. And they also have a good train system.
Yes.
Trains and trams, which where we live, we have almost zero public transportation.
I believe they're actually putting a new bullet train connection or something. I think there's more connections happening from a train standpoint.
And if you are visiting Valencia, you can get a tourist card for, I think it's about 3 days. It allows you to use any of the public transportation systems there for under 30 euros. So that is fantastic because if you think of the price of Uber or a taxi, it's super affordable. And also, in my experience, I think Valencia is the center of it is a very walkable city.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a very walkable city.
Yeah. And there's also taxis, Ubers, and all that good stuff. So if you're looking for the coast without the big queues or, without the super very tourist heavy amount of people, I would say Valencia is a great option. So just to locate ourselves, if you look at the map of Spain, ever since I was a kid, I always look at the map of Spain and then Portugal is like two faces. The one that faces the Costa Blanca, if you look at the tip of the nose, that's there, that's where Valencia is. So if you look at the map of Spain, the tip of the nose, you could say, that's Valencia right there. So you're like right in the middle of the Mediterranean and beautiful beaches as well. And the beaches, again, are not as hyped up as some of the other beaches.
No, it's really pretty city. And honestly, I think in the next couple of months, because oddly enough, anytime I have gone to Valencia, the weather has never been cooperative.
Oh, okay.
It's either been sort of overcast or sunny, but cold. And I thought, the last time we went actually a few weeks ago, my son had a golf tournament. I go to Valencia a lot for golf tournaments.
You probably go way more than I do, especially driving there.
Driving 100%. I know pretty much the main golf courses, and I also have an electric vehicle, so I know where all the EV chargers are. And
ping Nalini if you want to know where the electric
and which
charging
ones work. I have many apps, so I've learned that over the last couple of months. But I will say that we went into the city, the proper city. I was looking for something in particular, and you forget that how pretty it is. I'm like, oh, beautiful. This is so nice. And of course, we don't have time, by the time parking is atrocious.
Yeah.
I will say that you need to pack your patience with the parking or park a little out and take public transit or an Uber or something.
I was going to say, it's just better park your car somewhere and take the taxis. I wouldn't go from spot to spot in the city.
Oh my goodness.
Because I think it's kind of, you're stressing yourself out for no reason.
No, but it was we were walking and I thought, city is so nice. It's so walkable. It's pretty. It's clean. There's so many interesting shops and restaurants in the Mercat. And of course, we have to go. We can't really enjoy it. Yeah. So I thought, you know what? This really makes sense to come back here for a little weekend break and explore the city. Yeah. So I think for sure I'm going to be doing that.
Awesome.
Okay. So you're going to do the history.
Okay. So let's do a little bit of the history and the soul of Valencia. In doing the research for this episode, I found out some really interesting things that I never knew about, even though I've been there so many times. And some of them I actually went and fact checked because I'm like, is this real?
Is it true?
What? So Valencia was founded by the Romans in 138 BC as Valentia or Valentia. So Valentia.
That's cool.
Valentia. And it's cool because my daughter's called Valentina. And I was like, Valentina, Valentia. Making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Spain. Caddies, don't come for us, okay?
But I'm glad you read that line. Yeah. I saw that in our notes and I thought, I'm not saying that.
Inhabited cities, one of the oldest, not the oldest inhabited cities. Okay. The Moorish legacy left behind an extraordinary agriculture system. Okay. We really do have to thank the Moorish, let's say, invaders or whatever you want to call them, for the irrigation system. And this is the one thing that I found very unique. The acequias are still in use today, which is the irrigation system, and it's managed by the Tribunal de las Aguas.
Okay, what is that?
That is the oldest functioning democratic court in Europe.
Okay.
This is where I went and fact checked because I didn't want us to get beaten up on social media. It's been settling water disputes between farmers since the 10th century.
Wow. So what dispute would they have? Like how much water or where it flows, I guess, yeah.
So basically they meet every Thursday outside the cathedral, which, by the way, I so want to go watch this.
Me too.
I need to go watch this. And it has never needed, or they never allowed in, a single lawyer. So the farmers argue, the judges decide, and that's it, 10 minutes. And they've been doing it that way for over 1,000 years to settle water disputes.
Do you think they go for
a drink afterwards? Yeah. Like a beer after they do
coffee
this?
Or something after?
Yeah, it's just such an odd thing, that they would have something in place like this where literally it's like, okay, session is open. I almost in my head visualize it like a medieval thing. That's why I want to go and see it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So then the other thing, and you have seen this building and may not have realized this is what this building is. Next to the Westin Hotel in Valencia, there's this very beautiful kind of a old looking architectural building. Yeah. That is La Lonja de la Seda, the Silk Exchange. And it's actually UNESCO World Heritage. It was built in the 1400s when Valencia was one of the wealthiest trading cities in the Mediterranean.
Wow.
Yes.
That's super cool.
And that's the building next to the Westin. But it just doesn't kind of... And then the other debatable but very interesting fact is that the cathedral apparently houses the Holy Grail.
Okay. For the record, Laura said it, not me.
So people take it seriously. I did some very seriously. There's a traceable history of what Pope brought it to Spain, and they bring it out in the Jubilee year. And sometimes it appears so supposedly this Holy Grail is the charis? Is that how you say it?
The chalice.
Chalice. Thank you. Chalice that Jesus Christ used in the Last Dinner, the Last Supper.
Wow.
Yeah. So supposedly it's in Valencia. Supposedly it's the real one. But again, supposedly, allegedly,
Okay, but the point to some of these, what we cover on, in these episodes is that we take the time to go to the places, do the research, ask the questions, and kind of just present what we find. Maybe some of it, there's a gray area to it. However, I would hope that would spark somebody's interest to say, gee, I wonder if that's actually true. And even just the things that we discover, and I tell people here in conversation, have you ever heard of this? Or have you gone to this? Most people here haven't.
No, because it's like, think about it. What? The Holy Grail is in the Valencia Cathedral? And I see pictures of it. It's really pretty. It's an incredible work of art. But to me, it's like, how do they know for sure that is the chalice that Jesus Christ used in the... Anyway, so that was like a whole rabbit hole I went down. But I thought...
But interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit of architecture attractions? Again, if you're visualizing coming to Valencia for a few days, what are some of the things that people you would say, hey, you have to go see this?
Okay, well, the part of the city is, the city of arts and sciences. It is the striking building, the oceanographic, and the science building. The one that, for the science side, they host a lot of events there and concerts. And the oceanographic, that is a spectacular, I would say it's just a marine conservation project.
Very biodiversity oriented. So I'm going to give a bit of a controversial view on this.
Okay.
And I hadn't told you I was going to say this.
Okay.
Every time I drive into Valencia and I drive past the oceanographic, which the architecture is unbelievable. There's one building that is almost like a shell or something.
Yes.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of? No. What does it remind you of
The lady parts. Like it looks like a gigantic what do you call it? Hoo-ha or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, is anybody else seeing this? Like it's
well, if nobody's seen it, Laura, now when they look at it, they're not going to unsee it.
It's like, it totally looks like it. Yes. Anyway, but it's so funny when I was preparing for this. I'm like, that is literally what comes to mind every time I see it. I think it's supposed to be like a shell or something. I think so. But anyway, so I have actually been to the Oceanographic a bunch of times because traveling with kids, as you know, and with Valentina, with my daughter being very much on the spectrum, it's like, okay, where do I take her that will actually be enjoyable for her and not overwhelming? The way the Oceanographic is set up is very sensory pleasing. Like there's a lot of space. They do it so that it's not too overcrowded. And you don't get that feeling of when you walk into some of these places where they have animals where you feel sorry for the animals. Like it is very much focused on the biodiversity and education around biodiversity. Yeah,
you're not going to find a show where animals are performing. It is about conservation. It's about education. They really, I think, take great care of the animals. As far as I know, I haven't read anything in the news that there are other water or marine parks, especially in North America, that there have been horror stories. So
very much.
I'm never one to, just because of how I grew up, you would go to these things as a child and somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I don't think this is right that this whale is performing a show for us, and
it feels kind of off.
It feels, but as a kid, your parents think, especially in those days, they think, it's a family day out. And as an adult, I just like, I don't like it. But I've been to the Oceanographic and that is not the story. It is not, it's far less commercial than a lot of, parks of that nature you would find in Canada or America, for example.
And it's fairly affordable.
It is affordable.
Based on, the construction that is there. And I'm sure they have some government funding. My absolute favorite room in there is the jellyfish room.
Oh, I like with the beluga whales.
Oh, yeah. The beluga whales are so cool. I mean, they're so unique looking. But just to me, it's like the jellyfish room is dark and all the jellyfish are like turning different colors. And I feel like I could just sit there and just, almost be in like a kind of a meditative sort of just looking at jellyfish for a long time. Maybe you let me.
They have 27,000 animals.
Holy
of 750 different species.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So I thought that was really good. And then keeping in that sort of theme, Valencia also has the biopark.
Yes.
The biopark, which I have never been. Have you been to the biopark?
I have been to the biopark.
Okay.
I would just say about the biopark that it is outside, whereas the Oceanographic, most of it is inside. It's got some outside parts.
Yeah.
And the biopark, my only kind of flag would be to avoid it in the height of the summer because it is very hot. Yeah. But outside of that, the way the animals, again, they're not in cages. It's kind of like they set up these spaces for them. Yeah. So you are seeing the animals as much as possible interact as they would in the wild, in their habitat.
Now, the biopark, when you say that when, you see that word biopark, I don't think of zoo.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to
move away from that. Yeah. But they describe it as an immersive zoo experience, an immersive experience, so that when you enter and you go to one of their, let's say, the islands of Madagascar area, you should feel as if you are just an observer in that habitat, which I think is really interesting. So if anybody thinks, they don't, agree with it or don't support this idea of whether it's a zoo or a biopark, they participate in nearly 100 international programs for the conservation of endangered species throughout the world.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. And the entry fee to the biopark is, I think it's something like maybe 20 something euros to get in. You're not going to break the bank. And if you are here for a few days and you want to visit a few times, or even if you live here and you've never gone, a yearly membership for an adult, which gives you, I think, unlimited times you can enter, is €70.
Yeah, that's amazing. And by the way, for all of these different things, a little kind of travel hack is I would check Groupon. Groupon has a lot of times highly discounted tickets for the Oceanographic, the Biopark, and many of these, so it is worth checking.
I will tell you that they have 6,000 animals of 150 African species.
Whoa.
Yeah. So in one of the habitats, right? So they have that. They have the savanna. They have the equatorial rainforest.
Nice.
Wetlands, Madagascar. And they have the animals that you would think of, which is zebras, lions.
Gorillas.
They have the eastern bongo.
Yeah. And they have gorillas, no?
They have the western lowland gorilla.
Awesome.
Yeah, and most of those are on the critically endangered list. So in captivity, these animals can live far longer lives and be studied and, people can learn about it. I don't know. I think it's a pretty interesting offering in a city that maybe you didn't think about it.
And it's very central. It's not far.
No.
It's actually very, very near the city.
And Valencia is also a very green city.
Yes,
It's
it is.
very green. That's the one thing that'll probably strike you if you've never been. It's I don't want to say it's like a Central Park, but it's sort of like a Central Park if you were to,
areas, yeah.
like a New York City where you have the bike park in the middle and it's really pretty, a lot of trees. It's a lot greener than what I would picture it.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I think it's funny when we mentioned the biopark, my memory that comes back is all the monkeys because I don't really like monkeys. Oh. Like they freak me out a bit. I always kind of have this respect of monkeys because I think they sometimes can be very mischievous, And I'm like, I remember thinking to myself, I would not want to be stuck in here at night with all these monkeys,
no.
like because they are very mischievous little animals,
Okay, no. No to the monkeys. So those are some of the, I would say that's kind of the meat of the city in terms of main attractions, the center of it. And if you are just visiting for a couple of days, it is a really great companion to either Barcelona or Madrid.
And great one with kids.
Yes.
That's, I think, super cool.
Yeah.
So should we talk a bit about one of our favorite topics, food?
Yes, of course. Do you want to take it?
You can start us off.
Okay, so is it the national dish of Spain? Paella?
I mean,
I don't know. It's
very recognizable. I actually, not very long ago, I went to a cooking class with a group that I was working with. And again, it's like the Barcelona Madrid thing. You say, I'm from Spain, and they go, oh, you must know how to make paella. I'm like, I wish. So it's definitely, I don't know if it's a national dish.
But it's what it's known for.
People relate to Spanish people. Apparently, we all eat paella all the time. Yeah. So, no.
And, over the years, there's been controversy, people putting different chefs from around the world, putting different things in it. I actually saw, and I was so not happy. Do you know this? And I really like her, Ina Garten.
No, I don't know who she is.
Okay, well, she's sort of, a Martha Stewart.
Okay. I like Martha Stewart.
Right. And everybody who knows, people love Ina. She's American,
Mm-hmm.
She's curated this beautiful life, recipes, lifestyle, all that kind of stuff. So I happened to see an old episode on the other day, and every time Ina's on, I kind of watch.
Yeah.
Even though I'm probably never going to make what she's making, I just like the idea.
But it's like a comfort program. Like
100%.
Julia Childs.
Except Ina made
paella.
But in a salad.
Excuse me? Okay, I'm not one to get offended, and I'm offended.
I was offended.
A salad?
It was a salad. It was cold.
A paella salad?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Seriously, no.
I was actually shouting at the TV. I'm like, no, Ina, don't say it's a salad. And it was a salad.
That is actually crazy.
So I can't believe she wasn't canceled for that. And it's an old episode.
Maybe it's before cancel time.
Yeah, I think it was. So, I don't know how old she is, but don't crucify.
Don't crucify her. So we did a whole episode on paella. We went and did a whole deep dive on paella, but just some highlights. You can go listen to that episode if you're interested in it. But a few highlights. The original paella is doesn't have all the stuff in it that we see or put in now. So mostly rabbit, chicken, green beans, flat pan over an orange wood fire, and yes, snails. So, the original paella, and you still get that original paella in a lot of places in Valencia, looks way different to all the different versions that have evolved from that.
Yeah, and it was created here in the Valencian community, and they consider it to be a mixing of two sort of cultures. So you had the pan from the Romans, and paella was it's the pan.
Yes,
that's what
paella means the pan.
Yeah, it's not the actual rice. And then you had the Moors that cultivated the rice here. So the particular Valencian, the bomba rice.
Yes.
So it's it's almost like an arborio, if you had to describe it, a shorter fat grain.
That's like really a little stocky fat grain of rice.
Like a basmati or it's not a long grain.
And it's not aromatic by itself either.
No. So, they're farmers in the field. They have a pan, they have fire, they have rice, and it's what they had in the fields. Chickens, rabbits, snails, very simple farm
And by the way,
vegetables.
A lot of the rabbits are not like rabbits that are, grown or bred for that.
No.
I mean, they're hunted.
Yes. So this is an ancient dish that people fed themselves for sustenance.
And still do. Most of the time on a Sunday, because, it takes a while. So it's very much a Sunday dish. And as we mentioned last time, if you don't want to look like a total tourist, please don't order paella for dinner, because that is a huge giveaway. Like when you're walking around all these towns and all of a sudden you see like a table and they're all sharing a paella for dinner, the first thing that comes to a Spanish person's mind is that person's a tourist or they're a foreigner. I mean, and there may be the odd person that like wants to have paella for dinner and is Spanish, but rare.
Yeah. They should just start a campaign. Stop serving it after 4 p.m.
It's a pretty heavy dish. I mean,
Stop
if you think about
after
it,
4 p.m.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah. So, that's a little history of, controversial rice dish.
The drink that you'll see a lot as well, and it's very popular in the summer. I'm not a big fan, and I don't think you are either, but is the horchata de chufa.
I don't mind it. I'm not completely against it. I think it's considered a superfood, actually.
Yeah, it's because it's made with these tiger nuts.
Yeah, I think it's considered a tiger. It's actually a tuber.
Really? So it's like a mini potato?
I think it's a tuber.
Okay.
Please, if somebody look that up or tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's actually in the tuber family.
That makes sense because they actually look like mini potatoes.
Yeah, because it's not, even though it's called a tiger nut, I don't think it's a
nut. Well, peanuts are not nuts. And,
right.
That's always kind of fascinating to me because it's like a seed. And it's like, why do you call it a peanut then?
So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But that's what I remember.
We'll check it out.
Yeah. So, and it's not, people think it's a Mexican.
It's not. And in Mexico, I believe it's way sweeter than what we serve here. And here, people eat it with
fartons.
Which
are, I mean, it's a funny name, but it is a...
I think fartón means in Valenciano, like you get full from it. Because it's like, it's a very...
It's a pastry. It's fried, no?
I don't know if it's fried, but it's like a bread roll, basically.
Yeah, and you dip it in.
You dunk it, yeah.
Maybe it's not fried. Maybe it's baked. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's fartón and horchata de chufa. If you want to try that when you're in Valencia, you'd definitely be... in the right place to do that. So I do have a couple of restaurant recommendations before we move off food. One of them is Casa Montaña. It is a tavern from 1836.
Okay.
And that is in the Cabañal. And that's kind of the old fisherman's quarter in Valencia. So that one, definitely good. And it's still operating. They use like wooden wine barrels as the tables. Cool. in the front part, and there's tiled walls and kind of smell of vermouth. It kind of feels like you're walking into another century. So not super fancy, but that one must get a reservation, because if not,
we say this all the time, but any place that you go here in the next, whenever, if you're traveling the next couple of months, even if you think it's off season, just make a reservation.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you would order there is the boquerones en vinagre.
Okay.
Bonito, patatas bravas. So it's kind of more like a elevated tapas. When I say elevated, not like fancy, but just good quality.
Okay.
And then the other one I want to point out is Tasca Sorolla, and that's a one-man plancha, and that's in a little corner in the mercado, in the central market.
Okay.
So there's a sizzling plancha, 2 chalkboards on the wall, and Chimo, the owner, the chef, it's basically, he's the place. He's kind of
whatever he cooks is what you're getting?
Yeah. So whatever's fresh that morning, could be red prawns, sardines, cuttlefish, lamb sweetbreads. And I know some people may be going, ew, I don't want to try that. But it's very kind of original. So definitely would recommend that one.
Okay, cool. Now, Valencia, as the size of the city, they have some really great festivals. They usually attract quite mainstream artists, maybe not, a Justin Bieber or something like that, because you need a much bigger arena to house that kind of crowd. But I know this summer they have quite a few events. And okay, one of the ones that I have never been to is Noche de San Juan. Have you ever done it? I've never done it.
I have seen it here, but I don't think it's anywhere to the level of what they do in Valencia. So
there has to be. We should do a deep dive on this. Yeah. Why is fire so popular
in Valencia?
Why fire's a real theme in that city,
and not just in that city. It's like the whole Valencian community.
Yes.
It's like fireworks. Fire, las fallas, anything that means setting things on fire. It's like
but it is June 23rd to the 24th this year, and it's the it's the night of fire to celebrate the summer solstice, which is the shortest night of the year. Typically, you would go down to the beach, you make a bonfire. You can't just go to any beach and light a bonfire. There are sanctioned beaches that you can go to throughout the Valencian community. Typically, the Ayuntamiento will even give you the firewood.
Yeah.
They'll hand it out on the beach at a certain time. You stake your spot, you do the fire at midnight or just before midnight, you jump over the fire to purify yourself. I don't know if you've been on the beach for a few hours, possibly with some drinks, if jumping over the fire is recommended. However, people do it, and then you go in the sea and cleanse yourself.
So for the witchy people out there, it is a very witchy ritual.
But I think it's actually a really nice thing to celebrate the summer solstice.
Absolutely.
Oh, and these are sorry, I could not find it, but here it is. These are some of the artists that will be in Valencia this summer. You have Rod Stewart, ZZ Top, Rick Astley, Megadeth, Yandel.
Megadeth is coming to Valencia. Yes. What? I'm just finding out about this.
Romeo Santos, Prince Royce, Bryan Adams, and Deep Purple.
Wow.
Those are just some of the ones that I've found.
Holy smokes, that's a pretty impressive roster right there.
Impressive. And the tickets for a lot of these concerts
are way cheaper here.
Are a lot less expensive than you would find them in other cities. So,
oh my goodness. Try and see some of these artists in London. It's going to be double, triple the price at least.
Easily. And all the other things that go with it, the transportation, the dinner, all that. So worth checking out. Do you want to go through some of the other festivals quickly?
Big Sound Festival, June 26th to 27th. That's a big one. If you like also Spanish music, and that is at the City of Arts and Sciences. Okay. The other one that I think is pretty cool is the Feria de Julio, and that's throughout July. And one of the highlights of that is the Battle of Flowers.
Right. I've never seen this, but I think I would like to see it.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And then we go from flowers to tomatoes that, we had a whole episode on La Tomatina, but that's the last Wednesday of August in Buñol, which is 45 minutes away from Valencia. But if you're looking for something that is a unique experience in your lifetime,
I would say of all these that we've recommended, do that one.
Yeah.
Go to La Tomatina because
you'll never forget.
Yeah. Maybe it's a one and done kind of deal. Maybe you'll love it. I don't think you can describe that experience to anybody unless you really you're there.
Yeah.
It's something completely unique.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. Why don't you tell us, Nalini, about the exciting Sail GP one that's happening?
Right. So this is the first time it's going to be its first year in September, early September. And that's the 5th to the 6th. It was in Cadiz for 4 years. I don't really follow this particular sport, but it's supposed to be pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
They're looking at, over 10,000 spectators for it. And you have the catamarans that travel at 100 kilometers per hour, and it takes place in the marina.
Yeah. That's fast when you're trying to hold on for dear life too.
Right. Yeah. Again, it's not a sport I follow, but I think it's pretty amazing that on the list of things to do in Valencia, this is a new thing that's been added.
Yes.
And interesting too.
So if you're like a fan of Formula One or the MotoGP racing, think that on catamarans, and
yes,
it's pretty cool. And then you have Fashion Week that's happening September 10th to 15th. And that is going to feature a lot of emerging Spanish designers. And it's in a very cool district of the city, which is the Ruzafa district.
Okay, we should definitely go to that.
Yeah.
And then they also have open days. So they call it European Heritage Days between the 19th to the 20th of September. And you have free access to historic buildings throughout the city. So another thing that you can, look into if just as a walking part of your trip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So should we do some fun facts?
Yes.
Before our slice of life?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pick what I thought was the most fun fact. And it's this whole Tribunal de las Aguas with a dispute. I think, having the oldest democratic institution in the world in terms of, or one of the oldest, the 10 minutes every Thursday, no lawyers. I think that's really cool.
I think it's very interesting. And I would say that my fun fact is that Valencia hosted the America's Cup in 2007, the first time the oldest trophy in international sport had ever been held in Europe in its 156-year history.
Major flex, Valencia.
Yeah. So, this is all to say that it's a great city to explore. It is not small, but it's also not so completely intimidating that you can't really get a flavor and a vibe and enjoy what the city has to offer in a couple of days.
Yeah. So those are a couple of fun facts for you that just kind of to remind you of the episode. And next, we're going to go into our Slice of Life.
Yay. Welcome to the Slice of Life. Laura, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking a mini falda,
which translates to mini skirt.
Yes. I don't know why they called it that.
Yeah.
But that's what it translates to.
But I think it's quite cute. It's a very cute name. So what is it exactly? I'm just going to do a little pour here.
Lemon slushy that we call granizado de limón.
Yes. I'm going to pass that to you.
Okay. And gin. Now, if you're making a fancier version of this, you make the lemon slushy at home. So you have 4 lemons with the peel,
right?
Water, ice, and tons of sugar, and then the gin.
Yeah.
So that's how you make it. But normally here in summer, anywhere you go, you can find lemon slushy. It's a we call it, like I said, granizado de limón. And with that, you just basically order a mini falda. So they put the lemon slushy directly from the machine, and then they put the gin in. I think it's a very cheeky drink because you could be sitting there with your grandma and she doesn't know you're drinking gin, but you have it in your drink because you can't see it. You can't see that what you're drinking. So it is, I think, very refreshing. And yeah, I've always really liked this drink. It does originate from Menorca, apparently, and there's a whole history behind that. But we thought Valencia is such a sunny and refreshing place that, it's okay, let's have a kind of,
Yeah, and the gin that we're using, again, not sponsored. It just happens to be a Seagram's zero.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's zero alcohol gin, which I know people will laugh about that, but we are recording in the morning.
It is 11:30 in the morning.
It's 11:30 in the morning, so we're not having a fully alcoholic drink. But, you can so choose to use whatever gin that you want, but it's very refreshing.
Yes. So.
Right.
Today, we have a little bit of a controversial topic for our Slice of Life.
Yeah.
So we have had some clips and videos, I would say go to a certain level of virality, you could say, on Instagram and TikTok, and both for Spanish-related topics and for Trinidad-related topics. So, do you want to explain why we're doing this?
We've had some backlash, I would say, to some of the things that we've talked about, which is okay. I mean, I think anything that you put out there for public consumption, we can debate, we can be educated with certain things. And I think everything that we've always said, we don't pretend to be the experts in history or food or gastronomy or fashion or anything. It's just, this is just our life, our experience, what we saw, what we've read, what we've researched, and we've been told off, for lack of a better word, for maybe not having the correct historical representation of certain places or towns
And that's the least of it. I don't mind being corrected. I can be corrected all day. As I mentioned in my little share about the courage to be disliked, I don't mind feeling disliked, but it's the how sometimes that I think is interesting. So I will say overwhelmingly, super positive response. But there's a few people who are absolute internet trolls that, will say really nasty things like, tourists go home. To us, I'm Spanish and Alini's a resident. We are not tourists. And it's like, oh my goodness. And then one guy, I'm going to call him guy and not gentleman or man because, a guy, who's actually gone and made multiple accounts so he can troll us. And it's like, come on, man, get a life,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I try not to read the comments.
Yeah. However, overwhelmingly positive. But what we wanted to say that is interesting and a reflection for people, we want to show some love to our Trinidad audience because, my God, seriously, we had a couple of videos, the Cricks little video and the salt prunes video that we did. The amount of love and come back, we're going to show you this part of the city, come back next year. It has been 99% of the people there.
Super happy, very positive. I think we were very respectful. And I think we're always very respectful. I mean, if we didn't have a good experience in Trinidad in something, we would have said it. But that's just how we are. We're authentic in what we talk about here. We're not making anything up. If somebody at a hotel, despite wherever we're staying, is rude, we're not going to call out that person, but maybe we will discuss the hotel experience and be honest about it. Because again, we're not being sponsored by any of these places that we go. This is a completely authentic account. So if somebody tells us go home, okay, it's fine. I'll go home. I live right up the street.
In pull-up.
It's not a problem for me. But I just think it's that it's just very interesting to me that that's the sentiment at times. And I think it also does stem from the fact that Spain has an incredible amount of, I think we'd have to check the stats on this, but one of the most visited countries in the world. So there is this overwhelming wave of tourists, especially in the summer months. And given what's happening in other parts of the world right now, I would say expect even more tourism to flow into the country. However, it is an economic boost. And if you think back to COVID, when little bars and restaurants were closing, not run by tourists, but run by people who are born here,
where, by the way, some bar owners even committed suicide it's very serious. This is what people's livelihood
is. So tourists go home. Can you imagine if all the tourists went home from, let's say, Benidorm? It would just turn into dust.
Yeah. So I just want to read a couple of the comments not the bad ones, because we're not going to highlight them, but from the Trinidad episode, things like, I started making this over 30 years ago. You can make it also with white rum and the salt prunes, sugar cane sticks and white rum or tequila. I even made it with dried sorrel and white rum. So people are commenting. Yeah. And some people are saying, thank you for talking about our country. Thank you for spotlighting our country. It's just fun and it's lighthearted.
And I think, it would be really great if people here would suggest a restaurant or say, wow, thanks for, checking that out. But here's another suggestion just down the street the next time you're in town.
And they do sometimes. But anyway, we just wanted to get that chip off our shoulders.
Yeah.
So in closing,
yes,
Valencia will win you over. Yeah. It always does. Come for the paella, stay for the amazing history, and please treat it with the respect it deserves.
Absolutely.
However, our sentence of the day. Yes. Okay. La hospitalidad
Yes.
es el alma de España.
Let's see. The hospitality is the spirit
Of Spain.
of Spain.
So hospitality is the soul of Spain.
Okay.
It always has been. And let's not make the loudest voices forget that.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. This
Cheers.
is a good episode.
Bye.